April 14th, 1945, 7:23 in the morning. A Canadian Army headquarters somewhere in the Netherlands, just outside the German-held city of Zwolle. Officers are sitting around a wooden table drinking coffee from tin cups, smoking cigarettes, and planning the day's artillery bombardment. Maps are spread across the table. Red circles mark German positions. Blue arrows show planned attack routes. The plan is simple. At 0900 hours, the Canadian artillery will shell the city for 2 hours. Then the infantry will move in and clear out whatever's left of the Wehrmacht garrison. It's not elegant. It's not clean. But it's war. And then the door opens. A soldier walks in. He's not supposed to be there. He's supposed to be dead or captured or still hiding somewhere in the German-occupied city. But here he is. He's covered in gunpowder residue. Dried blood streaks his face and hands. His uniform is torn in 3 places. His boots are caked in mud and what looks like soot. He's missing his left eye, the socket covered by a black leather eye patch that's held in place by a strap around his head. His right eye is bloodshot and wild. He's carrying a German MP-40 submachine gun in one hand and a canvas bag in the other. His name is Corporal Léo Major. He's 24 years old. He's French-Canadian, and he's about to make a report that no one in the room will believe. "Sir," Major says, walking straight up to the commanding officer's desk. He drops the canvas bag onto the table. Dog tags spill out. Dozens of them, all German. "The city of Zwolle is liberated. The Wehrmacht garrison has surrendered. I have 93 prisoners of war waiting outside in the courtyard. You can cancel the artillery strike. The city is ours." The room goes silent. The commanding officer, a major, 20 years older than Léo, with gray hair and a face that's seen too many battles, stares at him. Then he looks at the dog tags, then back at Léo. "What are you talking about, Major? We sent you and Corporal Arsenault on a reconnaissance mission last night. You were supposed to scout German positions and report back. Where the hell is Arsenault?" Léo's face doesn't change. "He's dead, sir. Machine gun got him about 2 hours after we entered the city. German MG-42 nest near the central square. He took 3 rounds to the chest. Died instantly." The officer's jaw tightens. "And you're telling me you stayed in the city, alone, after your partner was killed?" "Yes, sir." "For how long?" "About 5 hours, sir." "And you liberated Zwolle, a city of 50,000 people, held by an entire Wehrmacht garrison, by yourself, in 5 hours?" "Yes, sir." One of the other officers, a lieutenant, laughs. It's not a happy laugh. It's the kind of laugh you make when something is so absurd you don't know how else to react. "Major, that's impossible," the lieutenant says. "You're one man. The Germans have machine gun nests, SS troops, officers, fortified positions." "Had, sir," Léo interrupts. "Past tense. They surrendered 2 hours ago. The city is ours. The Dutch civilians are safe. You can send trucks to pick up the prisoners whenever you're ready. I left them with one of the local resistance leaders. They won't go anywhere." The commanding officer stands up slowly. He walks to the window and looks out. In the distance, about 3 kilometers away, smoke is rising from the city of Zwolle, but the German flag that was flying over the main bridge yesterday is no longer there. The city is silent. No gunfire, no explosions, just smoke and silence. The officer turns around. "How?" Léo Major lights a cigarette. His hand doesn't shake. His one good eye stares straight ahead, not at the officer, not at anything in particular, just forward. "I made them think they were surrounded by 10,000 Canadians, sir. I set fires. I threw grenades. I shouted orders in German. I shot their sentries. I shot their officers. I made it loud. I made it chaotic, and they panicked. By the time the sun came up, they thought the entire Canadian First Army was inside the city, so they surrendered. Turns out, you don't need an army to take a city, sir. You just need to be loud enough and crazy enough that the enemy thinks you're an army." The room is silent again. The officers look at each other. One of them picks up the bag of dog tags and starts counting them. Another walks to the window and stares at the smoke rising from Zwolle. The commanding officer sits back down. He looks at Léo Major. this one-eyed, cocky, insubordinate French-Canadian corporal who just walked into his office and told him he liberated an entire city by himself. "Major," the officer says quietly, "if you're lying to me, I will personally court-martial you and throw you in a stockade for the rest of the war." Léo grins. "If I'm lying, sir, then those 93 Germans outside are just really good actors." This is the true story of Léo Major, the one-eyed French-Canadian soldier who single-handedly liberated an entire Dutch city in a single night. The man who captured 93 German soldiers alone. The man who killed at least 20 enemy soldiers in 5 hours. The man who set an entire city on fire just to scare the Nazis into surrendering. The man who later declined a medal from Field Marshal Bernard Montgomery because he thought Montgomery was incompetent. But before we get to the night that made him a legend, we need to go back. Because the story of how Léo Major became the man who laughed in the face of death and made the Nazis surrender to one soldier starts long before Zwolle. It starts in the streets of Montreal. It starts with a kid who had nothing, and it starts with a promise he made to himself when he was 18 years old. "I'm going to prove I'm not worthless. I'm going to come back a hero. Or I'm not coming back at all." Montreal, Quebec, Canada. Léo Major is born into poverty. His father is a laborer who works 14-hour days in a factory and comes home smelling like machine oil and cigarette smoke. His mother dies when Léo is 7 years old. He doesn't talk about her much. When people ask, he just says, "She's gone," and changes the subject. Léo grows up in the poorest part of Montreal, the kind of neighborhood where kids don't go to school because they're working, where families share apartments with 2 or 3 other families because rent is too expensive, where the cops don't patrol because they know nobody's going to cooperate with them anyway. Léo gets into fights, lots of them. By the time he's 12 years old, he's got a reputation. The teachers hate him. The priests hate him. The other kids are scared of him. He steals, not because he's evil, because he's hungry. He steals bread from bakeries. He steals fruit from street vendors. He steals wallets from drunks who pass out in alleys. And when someone tries to stop him, he fights them. By age 16, he's running with a gang. They're not organized criminals. They're just kids. Angry, poor, desperate kids who figured out that the world doesn't care about them, so why should they care about the world? Léo's father tries to set him straight. "You keep going like this," his father says, "you're going to end up in jail. Or dead." Léo just shrugs. "Then I'll end up in jail or dead. What's the difference? I'm already living in hell." But in 1940, something changes. World War II reaches Canada. Britain is at war with Nazi Germany, and Canada, as part of the British Commonwealth, is mobilizing its army. Recruitment posters go up all over Montreal. "Join the army. Serve your country. Fight for freedom." Léo sees one of these posters outside a recruitment office. He stares at it for a long time, and then he walks inside. "I want to enlist," he tells the recruiting sergeant. The sergeant looks him up and down. Léo is 19 years old. He's short, only about 5'8". He's skinny. He's got scars on his knuckles from street fights. He looks like trouble. "Why do you want to join the army, son?" the sergeant asks. Léo thinks about it. He could say something patriotic. He could say he wants to fight for his country. He could say he wants to stop the Nazis, but he doesn't. "Because everyone thinks I'm worthless," Léo says. "I'm going to prove them wrong. I'm going to come back a hero, or I'm not coming back at all." The sergeant stares at him. Then he slides a form across the desk. "Sign here. Léo Major enlists in the Régiment de la Chaudière, an elite French-Canadian infantry unit. The training is brutal. Most recruits wash out, but Léo doesn't. He thrives. He's good at shooting. He's good at hand-to-hand combat. He's good at following orders when he feels like it and ignoring them when he doesn't. His commanding officers don't know what to make of him. He's cocky. He's insubordinate. He gets into fights with other soldiers. But he's also a natural soldier. He scores top marks in marksmanship. He completes obstacle courses faster than anyone else in his unit. And he's completely, absolutely, utterly fearless. One of his sergeants pulls him aside one day. "Major, you're either going to become the best soldier in this regiment, or you're going to get yourself killed. I haven't figured out which yet." Léo grins. Why not both? By 1943, Léo Major has been promoted to corporal. He's fought in Sicily. He's fought in Italy. He's killed German soldiers. He's seen his friends die. He's been shot at, blown up, and nearly drowned when his landing craft was hit by artillery fire. And he loves it, not because he's a psychopath, but because for the first time in his life, he's good at something. For the first time in his life, people respect him. For the first time in his life, he has a purpose. And then, on June 6, 1944, D-Day, Léo Major lands on Juno Beach with the first wave of Canadian troops invading Normandy, France. And that's where everything changes. June 7, 1944, Normandy, France, D-Day +1. The beach is behind them. The killing has already started. Léo Major and his squad are clearing German positions near a small French village about 5 kilometers inland from Juno Beach. They've been fighting for 36 hours straight. No sleep, no hot food, no showers, just gunfire, explosions, and the smell of death. Major's squad is moving house to house. Standard urban combat procedure: kick open the door, throw in a grenade, wait for the explosion, rush in and shoot anything that moves. Major kicks open the door of a farmhouse. Inside, he finds 4 German soldiers. They're young, probably 18 or 19 years old. One of them still has acne. They're terrified. The moment they see Léo and his squad, they drop their rifles and put their hands up. "Nicht schießen!" one of them yells. "Don't shoot." "We're ergebens!" "We surrender." Major lowers his rifle. He motions for his squad mates to come in and tie up the prisoners. Standard procedure: disarm them, tie their hands, take them back to the rear for interrogation. But as Major turns his back to check the next room, one of the German soldiers, the youngest one, the one with acne, pulls a grenade from his belt. His hand is shaking. He's crying. "Scheiße," the German whispers. "Shit." He pulls the pin. The grenade hits the floor. Everyone sees it. Everyone knows what's about to happen. But there's no time to run, no time to dive for cover. The room is too small. The explosion is too close. The grenade detonates. The blast is deafening. Shrapnel rips through the room like 1,000 tiny bullets. The walls are peppered with holes. Blood sprays across the floor. 2 of Major's squad mates go down screaming. The 4 German soldiers are torn apart. The one who threw the grenade doesn't even have a face anymore. And Léo Major is on his knees, blood pouring from his face. His left eye is gone. Not injured, not damaged, gone. Shrapnel has shredded the eyeball and torn through the socket. Blood is streaming down his cheek. The pain is so intense that he can't even scream. He just kneels there, gasping, trying to understand what just happened. His squad mates rush over. One of them, a medic, takes one look at Major's face and goes pale. "Oh, Jesus," the medic says. "Oh, Jesus Christ." They carry Major to a field hospital about 1 kilometer away. The doctors take one look at his face and immediately start prepping him for evacuation. "You're going home, Corporal," the head doctor says. "We'll patch you up here, but you need proper surgery. You'll be on a ship back to England by tomorrow morning." But Léo Major doesn't go home. He waits until the doctors and nurses are busy with other patients. Then he rips off his bandages, grabs his rifle, and walks out of the hospital tent. When his commanding officer sees him 2 hours later, back with his unit, the officer's face goes red with rage. "Major, what the hell are you doing here? You're supposed to be on a hospital ship." "I'm not going home, sir," Major says. His left eye socket is still bleeding. He's wrapped a dirty bandage around his head, but blood is already seeping through. "You're blind in one eye. You can't fight like this." "I can shoot just fine, sir. I've got one eye. That's all I need to aim." "You need depth perception. You need binocular vision. You need—" "I don't need depth perception to kill Nazis, sir," Major says. "I just need to point my rifle at them and pull the trigger. I can do that with one eye. Hell, I can do it with no eyes if I have to." The officer stares at him. He's furious. But he's also seen Léo Major fight. He knows what Major is capable of. And he knows that if he orders Major to go home, Major will just desert and rejoin the unit anyway. The officer sighs. Fine, but if you get yourself killed, don't blame me. Léo Major grins. Blood drips from his bandaged face. If I get killed, sir, I won't be around to blame anyone. From that day forward, Léo Major fights the rest of World War II with one eye. And he doesn't just survive, he thrives. He kills German soldiers, he captures prisoners, he leads night raids deep behind enemy lines. He becomes known among his unit as the crazy one-eyed bastard who won't die. And his kill count keeps climbing. By the time the Canadian Army reaches the Netherlands in April 1945, Léo Major has fought through France, Belgium, and into the heart of German-occupied territory. He's been shot twice. He's been blown up 3 times. He's been captured once and escaped the same night by strangling a guard and stealing his uniform. And then, on April 13th, 1945, the Canadian Army reaches the Dutch city of Zwolle, and Léo Major volunteers for a mission that will make him a legend. April 13th, 1945, 1800 hours, outside Zwolle, Netherlands. The Canadian Army has a problem. The city of Zwolle is still held by the Germans. It's a strategically important location, a bridge over the Ijssel River that the Allies need to cross if they're going to push into Germany and end the war. The Wehrmacht has fortified the city. Machine gun nests, mortar positions, snipers, officers, at least 300 German soldiers, and trapped inside the city are 50,000 Dutch civilians. The Canadian commanders want to shell the city with artillery, soften up the German defenses, destroy their positions, force them to retreat or die. But if they do that, thousands of Dutch civilians will be killed. The city will be destroyed, and the Allies will have liberated a pile of rubble instead of a city. So they need another option. They need reconnaissance. Someone to sneak into the city, scout the German positions, count their forces, map out their defenses, and report back so the Canadians can plan a surgical strike that minimizes civilian casualties. The commanding officer stands in front of his assembled troops. I need 2 volunteers, he says. This is a reconnaissance mission. You'll enter the city at night. You'll avoid enemy contact. You'll observe and report back. You will not engage the enemy unless absolutely necessary. This is not a combat mission. This is intelligence gathering. Understood? Several soldiers step forward. Among them is Corporal Léo Major. The officer looks at him. Major, this is a stealth mission. You're not exactly known for your subtlety. I can be subtle when I need to be, sir, Major says. The officer doesn't believe him, but he also knows that Major is one of the best scouts in the regiment. So he nods. Fine. You and Corporal Willie Arsenault. 2 men, in and out. No heroics. Understood? Understood, sir, Major says. But his grin says otherwise. That night, at 2100 hours, Major and Arsenault slip into Zwolle under cover of darkness. They move through the streets silently, avoiding German patrols. They map out machine gun nests. They count soldiers. They identify officer positions. They note which buildings are fortified and which are empty. Everything is going smoothly. And then, at 0200 hours, a German patrol spots them. Halt! A German voice shouts. Major and Arsenault freeze. 3 German soldiers are standing 20 meters away, rifles raised. Hands up! One of the Germans yells, Drop your weapons! Major looks at Arsenault. Arsenault looks at Major, and then they run. Machine gun fire erupts behind them. Bullets crack against the cobblestones. Tracers light up the night. Major and Arsenault sprint down an alley, weaving between buildings, jumping over fences. More Germans join the chase. An MG-42 machine gun opens fire from a second-story window. The sound is deafening. A buzz saw ripping through the air at 1,200 rounds per minute. And then Arsenault goes down. A burst of machine gun fire stitches across his chest. He collapses in the middle of the street, blood pooling beneath him. Major slides to a stop. He looks back. Arsenault isn't moving. His eyes are open. His chest isn't rising. The Germans are 50 meters away, closing fast. Major has 2 choices. He can run, get back to Canadian lines, report what he saw, let the artillery bombardment happen tomorrow, Arsenault is already dead. There's nothing he can do, or he can stay. Léo Major looks at the dead body of his friend. Then he looks at the Germans running toward him. Then he looks at the city around him. 50,000 Dutch civilians huddled in their homes, terrified, waiting for the shelling to start. And he makes a decision. Fuck it, Léo Major says out loud. If I'm staying, I might as well liberate the whole goddamn city. He pulls out his rifle, aims at the lead German soldier, fires. The German drops, and the night of fire begins. 02:30 hours, Zwolle, Netherlands. Léo Major is alone in a city of 50,000 people, held by 300 Wehrmacht soldiers. He has his Lee Enfield rifle, 6 grenades, a stolen German MP-40 submachine gun, and about 200 rounds of ammunition. And he has a plan. If I kill enough of them, Major thinks, they'll panic. They'll think they're surrounded. They'll think the entire Canadian army has broken through their lines. And if I'm loud enough, if I'm chaotic enough, they'll surrender. So he gets to work. He moves through the streets like a ghost, silent when he needs to be, loud when he wants to be, one-eyed, furious, unstoppable. He finds a German machine gun nest on the second floor of a bakery. 2 soldiers. They're smoking cigarettes, talking in low voices about wanting to go home. Major climbs through a window on the first floor, moves up the stairs. The Germans don't hear him until he's standing behind them. He shoots them both, takes their ammunition, keeps moving. He finds a German supply depot 2 blocks away, stacks of wooden crates, fuel barrels, ammunition boxes. He pulls out a grenade, pulls the pin, throws it into the depot. The explosion is massive. Fire erupts into the night sky. Secondary explosions follow as ammunition cooks off. The sound echoes through the entire city. German soldiers come running from all directions thinking they're under attack. Major shoots 3 of them. The rest scatter, confused, terrified. And then Léo Major does something insane. He starts yelling orders in German. "Fall back to the bridge," he shouts in perfect German. "We're surrounded. The Canadians have broken through. Fall back." The German soldiers hear him. They think he's an officer. They start retreating. Major follows them through the streets, shooting stragglers, throwing grenades into buildings, setting fires. By 0400 hours, half the city is burning. The sky is orange. Smoke fills the streets. The Germans are in full panic mode. They think 10,000 Canadians have launched a surprise attack. But it's just one man, one one-eyed French-Canadian corporal with a death wish and a bad attitude. Major keeps moving. He's been fighting for 2 hours straight now. His ears are ringing from the explosions. His hands are covered in blood and gunpowder. His uniform is soaked in sweat. He finds another patrol. 4 Germans. He kills 2 with his rifle, throws a grenade at the other 2, keeps moving. He finds a German staff car parked outside a building. He pulls out his last grenade, throws it into the car. The explosion sends shrapnel flying in all directions. The car flips onto its side, burning. The Germans are running now, full retreat. They don't know where the attack is coming from. They don't know how many Canadians are in the city. All they know is that their friends are dying, their supplies are exploding, and the city is on fire. And somewhere in the chaos, Léo Major is grinning, because he's winning. 0500 hours, Zwolle, Netherlands. Léo Major is running out of ammunition. He's down to his last magazine for the MP-40. He has maybe 30 rounds left for his rifle. He's thrown all his grenades. He's been fighting for 3 hours straight. His body is screaming at him to stop. His lungs are burning. His legs feel like lead. But he's not done yet, because in front of him, in the center of the city, is a large stone building. German officers are going in and out. Staff cars are parked outside. A radio antenna is on the roof. It's the Wehrmacht headquarters for Zwolle. Major grins. "Well," he says to himself, "if I'm going to die tonight, I might as well die big." He walks up to the front door, doesn't sneak, doesn't hide, just walks right up to the door and kicks it open. Inside, 2 German officers are standing over a map table, trying to figure out what the hell is happening outside. They look up, shocked. "Was one of them starts to say. "What the—" Major shoots them both. Center mass. They drop. He walks deeper into the building, kicks open another door. Inside, he finds what he's looking for. 93 German soldiers, huddled together in a large room. Some are wounded, some are terrified, some are just exhausted. They've run out of ammunition. They've run out of hope. Major walks into the room, points his rifle at them. The room goes silent. "Listen up," Major says in German. His voice is calm, almost friendly. "The Canadian Army is surrounding this city as we speak. You've already lost. Your supply depots are destroyed. Your officers are dead. Your defenses are collapsing. You have two choices right now. You can surrender, walk outside, and live to see tomorrow. Or you can refuse, and I will call in an artillery strike that will level this entire building. What's it going to be?" The Germans look at each other. None of them want to die. They're done. They're beaten. One of them, an SS officer with a scar across his cheek, stands up. "How many Canadians are out there?" he asks. Major doesn't blink. "Enough to kill every single one of you if you don't surrender in the next 60 seconds. The SS officer stares at him. He looks at the blood on Major's uniform, the eye patch, the wild grin, the absolute certainty in Major's one good eye. "You're insane," the SS officer says. "Yeah," Major replies, "I am. Now drop your weapons and get outside. You've got 50 seconds left." The Germans drop their weapons, all 93 of them. Major marches them out of the building, through the burning streets, toward the edge of the city. Dutch civilians come out of their homes, staring in disbelief. Some of them are crying. Some of them are cheering. One man, 93 prisoners. By 0700 hours, the sun is rising over Zwolle, and Léo Major is walking back toward Canadian lines with 93 German prisoners of war following behind him. His commanding officer sees him from 200 meters away, and his jaw drops. May 8th, 1945. The war in Europe is over. Germany has surrendered. The Nazis are defeated, and the Canadian Army wants to honor Léo Major. Field Marshal Bernard Montgomery, one of the most famous British generals of World War II, the man who defeated Rommel at El Alamein, personally recommends Léo Major for the Distinguished Conduct Medal, the second highest award for gallantry in the British Commonwealth, just below the Victoria Cross. It's an incredible honor. Only a handful of Canadian soldiers received the DCM during World War II. But when the award ceremony is announced, Léo Major refuses to attend. "I'm not taking a medal from Montgomery," he says. His commanding officer is stunned. "Major, do you understand what you're saying? This is the Distinguished Conduct Medal. This is one of the highest honors in the entire Commonwealth. Field Marshal Montgomery himself recommended you." "I don't care," Major says. "Montgomery's an idiot. He got thousands of men killed at Dieppe. He botched Operation Market Garden. I'm not taking a medal from a man who doesn't know how to fight a war. Major, you can't just refuse a medal from a field marshal. Watch me." Léo Major becomes the only Canadian soldier in World War II to refuse the Distinguished Conduct Medal. The Army is furious. The British are insulted. Montgomery himself is reportedly livid, but Major doesn't care. "I didn't fight this war for medals," he later says. "I fought it because I had something to prove, and I proved it. Mission accomplished." But the story doesn't end with the medal. After liberating Zwolle, Léo Major kept a German shepherd he found wandering the streets. The dog had belonged to a German officer who had fled the city during the chaos. Major decided to keep the dog, and he named it Adolf. "Every time I call his name," Major joked to his fellow soldiers, "I get to insult Hitler. It's perfect." The dog stayed with him for the rest of the war. When Major finally returned to Canada in late 1945, he brought Adolf with him. The dog lived with Major for 12 years, and every single day for 12 years, Léo Major would call out, "Adolf, come here, Adolf. Sit, Adolf." And he'd laugh, because even after everything he'd seen, even after all the killing and the blood and the death, Léo Major still found a way to laugh at the Nazis. Léo Major came home to Canada in 1945. He got married, he had children, he worked as a pipe fitter. but he never stopped being a soldier. In 1950, the Korean War broke out, and Léo Major, at age 29, re-enlisted in the Canadian Army. He fought at the Battle of Hill 355. He captured an entire Chinese position, again by himself. Again, everyone thought he was lying until they saw the prisoners. He was awarded another medal. This time, he accepted it. Léo Major died on October 12, 2008, at the age of 87. He never talked much about the war. When journalists asked him about Zwolle, he'd shrug and say, "I did what needed to be done, that's all." But the city of Zwolle never forgot him. Every year on April 14th, the Dutch hold a ceremony to honor the one-eyed Canadian soldier who liberated their city in a single night. A street in Zwolle is named Léo Major. A school is named after him. A statue of him stands in the town square. And the people of Zwolle tell their children the story of the man who was told it was impossible to liberate a city alone, and did it anyway, because Léo Major didn't ask for permission. He didn't wait for orders. He didn't care if something was impossible. He just looked at the enemy, grinned with his one good eye, and said, "Watch me." And that's the difference between a soldier and a legend.